Hello, Tattooed Athletic Club, and welcome to another edition of Tattooed Athlete. I'm super excited today to be joined by Sebastian Paz. Sebastian, how's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for taking the time. Before we kind of started recording, I was just going through the laundry list of things you're involved in. So we could really start any particular place, but the reason you and I got connected is you are the co-founder and COO of VETWOD. Tell me a little bit about VETWOD.
Yeah, so VETWOD is a nonprofit organization that really promotes physical activity and peer-to-peer relationships, so a community, particularly to help veterans, first responders, and the careers that are really facing trauma, either helping trauma or trauma in their own lives repeatedly. And so as a way to cope, as a way to be together, as a way to, get through life, not by yourself, and suffer with others, I guess, we founded this nonprofit, and we just believe in the power of exercise, whether that's yoga, CrossFit, powerlifting, jiu-jitsu, skydiving, just really anything that gets you active, that also provides an opportunity for you to be in relationship with people.
Right, absolutely. And so how long has VETWOD been around?
So unofficially, like 5 years.
Okay.
Initially, it was just supposed to be a one-time event that my co-founder and I, Weezy and I, we wanted to do, and just raise some funds and create a really cool event that would give some money back to another nonprofit that was already kind of doing the work.
Cool.
And somewhere in that process, I did really well, and I had no idea I was going to be leading a nonprofit, and just really fell in love with the people that were helping and with the community, and just realized that our community and people in general, like, we all deal with challenging things, we all deal with trauma, and what best way to get through things that to grind it out, get a good workout in, get some feel good about yourself, have something to work towards, and then do it together. And so we decided to go through all the legal process of becoming a nonprofit. And so this year will be officially the fourth annual VETWOD yearly event.
Excellent. And what is that yearly event?
So we do a lot of different things throughout the year, but how we started was doing a one-time event a year that is an online fitness competition that people can do anywhere. And this is like years before the pandemic. So we've been using this format to be able to reach people and really to serve our population too, because when you're deployed, or when you're at the firehouse, or when you're on shift as a police officer or as a nurse, our schedules are crazy. We go to all types of different places. So sometimes we don't have access to gyms, or we don't really have people to work out with because our schedules are so crazy.
Right.
And so having an online format really allows us to have more reach and have more inclusivity, and really just use social media in a good way. So it's we have a competition in which the entry for the competition itself is the fundraiser. People can donate on top of their registration. People can buy clothing usually, or patches, and it all goes to fund our programs, as well as fellow nonprofits that are doing really, really good work. And sometimes they're limited by funds. So we want to both promote physical activity and community, and at the same time help those that are doing really good work.
Right, absolutely. And I think within kind of the tattooed athlete community, we have veterans, we have non-veterans, but ultimately we have a lot of people that I think would want to be involved and want to help. So what are some of the resources that, if people wanted to donate and be involved with that kind of stuff, where can they find information?
So it's all on our website, vetwod.org.
Okay.
Also, we're pretty active on Instagram, which is how me and you got connected.
Yep.
Just VETWOD, or Facebook as well. And we're pretty active, pretty, we get back to people really quick. And honestly, we help people with anything from gym sponsorships to equipment scholarships to like training programs,
Cool.
or fees for certain events if people can't afford it and they really want to do a tough butter, or they want to do uh, a jiu-jitsu competition, or they want to
Yeah.
go to a surf thing, or Spartan, CrossFit local competition, whatever,
Sure.
and you just don't have the funds, we want to be able to take that barrier away so that you can get plugged in.
Right.
So we do a lot of different things, and we also too, we if we get a request or we hear about a veteran that is really struggling or needs some financial assistance for whatever reason, then those are things that we consider too, and we give back to those needs. And so we do a lot of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot of great avenues for our community to get in touch with you guys and learn about VETWOD. So I appreciate you jumping into that a little bit. But on top of that, you're also a veteran yourself, an athlete, a father, a nurse, all of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of your journey that led you to the Air Force.
So I've been an athlete my whole life. I grew up in Colombia, South America, and all I did was play soccer. Like when I wasn't sleeping or just at home, I was playing soccer. I remember we used to, I grew up pretty poor, and we didn't have, in the neighborhoods that we were in, like we didn't have soccer balls. Those were for the rich kids. We couldn't afford it, or like cars, because we would just play in the street. So cars would just like run over our balls, and then we didn't have soccer balls for the rest of the year.
It was gone.
So we would make, we would make soccer balls out of newspapers, and then saran wrap it, and then plastic bags, and then like duct tape.
Yeah.
And we played, and that was like indestructible. So
just doing what you had to do.
I remember my whole life. I was always outside, just playing, climbing on things, running all day long. And so that kind of carried into what I wanted to do after high school. I went to college on a soccer scholarship. I played, and, when I was done with that, and I was just kind of just really done with soccer mentally. I was just like, I don't want to play anymore, for a lot of different reasons, but I just always had the desire to move my body and to just do hard things, and do them with people with me. And so I just always had a desire as well after 9/11 to give back to the United States that really took me in and adopted me.
Right.
Because I'm a naturalized citizen, and I've always just been appreciative and been a community-minded person, so it just made sense at the time, and I just really wanted to do it. So I joined the military as a firefighter, which allowed me to really use my body and train to do the job. And then from there, I became a flight medic, doing medic things out of airplanes, and that was also physical. So that kind of, I just like working with my hands, and I like fixing things and just being able to help. So, at some point, actually, because of firefighting, I really got in tune with functional fitness and training more for performance as opposed to looks,
Right.
Funny enough, looks come as you're consistent with functional training.
Right.
So
right. Kind of go hand in hand.
I'm stronger. I look just as fit as I used to, and or probably more fit in some ways. But so that carried on to me just trying different things, trying jujitsu and going outside and doing climbing and doing mud races and team competitions and jiu-jitsu and all kinds of things that I really just enjoy. And and I've been blessed to be able to be a coach for street parking and
Awesome.
really give back and help people as much as possible. So I would say, I don't know if it's a gift or not, but I think that fitness and just physical activity and moving my body, like movement in general, is a gift, and I
It's
see it as
huge.
a gift for me, and I'm blessed to be able to do it. So I want to help people as much as possible.
Right. If we can start pushing that healthy movement, I think we'll be in a better place for sure. So, and also, before we get too far into it, I want to thank you for your service, you and your entire community through VETWOD. We appreciate you, and can't thank you enough for all you guys do.
Thank you.
And then also street parking. I feel like that name has really kind of exploded in the past year and a half, 2 years. How was life through the pandemic coaching through street parking? Probably pretty busy.
Yeah. So similar as VETWOD, we had already been doing a lot of the work, kind of behind the scenes, kind of quietly, or just minding our own business, right? Just helping people,
Right.
like the real people. Uh, and I'm not talking about anyone else. I'm just talking about us. From the beginning, we were all about families and parents and shift workers that couldn't have access to the gym, or that for whatever reason either couldn't afford the gym, couldn't go to the gym, they didn't want to go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
And so this allowed us to really help people a lot when the pandemic happened, because
Right.
we were unintentionally prepared to really, really do more and be able to reach more. So, we've been doing the work for years. Now people just were looking for things to do from home, and they just clicked. And so, we got really busy. We were able to help out a lot of people, and then we never really market or really advertise, but these people just loved it, and we have a really, really awesome, faithful, on the borderline a little bit crazy community, and the word of mouth is just amazing.
Huge.
And that's
Right.
for Julian and Miranda, that's the biggest compliment ever, that our own members are they speak so highly about street parking and what we do and how much we help and all the work that we put in, that it's really, really awesome. And so being busy and having too much to do is a good problem, because we're helping people, and
Right.
we've learned a lot in process. And I'm just super thankful for all the people, all my coworkers at street parking, because a lot of people don't see all the work that we put in, but we have great leaders in Miranda and Julian that really set the tone and really just lead by example. And
Right.
it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard the name. I had heard it prior to kind of the pandemic started, but then it was like anyone who had a piece of equipment, it seemed like at the start of the pandemic, was doing street parking. And I think it's been a really cool avenue for people who were maybe going to the gym because they felt like they had to and there was no other alternative, to now it's created a really cool kind of sub community too, of like, hey, we're doing this too, but we don't have to go to the gym to do it. And I think it's a really cool mix of people who do it out of necessity and people who genuinely enjoy the different type of atmosphere of working out. So kudos to you and the street parking crew, for rocking that right now. That's great. So, but before we get into tattoos, I am just curious about, like, what's your day to day, like with all the things you're involved in. What's your day to day look like?
So it depends. So my wife is also a nurse, and for the past year or so, we actually, because of the pandemic, I feel like I got overworked, and it was just a lot on me and our family. So we decided to switch things up and really do something kind of crazy that was going to help us as a family. So I quit my job, and we, well, actually, I can't remember what happened first, but the plan was sell the house, quit my job, buy a fifth wheel and an RV camper,
Oh, cool.
and just travel and take contracts if we wanted to, when we wanted to, wherever
Right.
we wanted to. And thankfully, in our career field, there's always a need for nurses,
Yeah.
and with experience and references and connections, like you can pretty much work anywhere. Um, so we have 2 kids and a dog, and we live in a fifth wheel. We're both nurses, and so what we do is we each take a contract at a time. So when I take a contract, my wife's at home with the kids. And when she takes a contract, which is the current status right now, I'm at home with the kids as the primary caretaker. So right now, because I'm not working in the hospital, my day-to-day is pretty much taking care of the kids. We just finished homeschooling for the year, but typically it would be homeschooling, cooking, cleaning, chasing them down, giving them snacks,
Right.
just making sure we go outside and have some playtime, and we're seeing friends and family. And then in between all that, I do emails and create content, connect with people like you, and just kind of do a little bit of everything.
Right.
So that's my status right now. When I'm working, I typically night nurse. So I'm pretty much like working overnight and sleeping during the day, and in between, again, just trying to do different things,
all the other stuff.
Right.
And then somehow finding time to work out and stay fit through all that. So hey man, I'd love to dig into kind of your tattoo journey. I know we got connected just through social media, but I'd love to hear kind of if you happen to know maybe what your very first one was and the story behind it, and then we can kind of see where that takes us down the yellow brick road.
I do, and it's actually pretty funny. I from a young age, man, I was just always intrigued by tattoos. I was intrigued by the art. I was intrigued by like my skin on my body being like a book, being like a vessel for expression. And I was just always intrigued, whether that be because of 90s rap or just movies or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Probably a rap more than anything, really.
Yeah.
But I had always asked my mom to let me go get a tattoo. Hey, I want a tattoo. I want a tattoo. And she was a single mom in a third world country, a Latino mom, which they're tough, and she had to be mom and dad, and culturally, just a lot different, right? A lot more conservative in some ways, and almost very kind of influenced by like old school Catholicism or cultural Catholicism.
Okay. Yep.
So really, she's like, no way, like only prisoners and only like sailors and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, so I can't do it unless she signs for me if I'm underage.
Yeah.
So the day that I became 18, man, the next day I went and got a tattoo.
Oh, I love it.
She had no idea. I had saved for months and months at a time in like odd jobs, washing cars, just whatever. And it was actually, I'll show it to you a little bit later, but it was actually a psalm from the Bible, Psalm 23. And I had always loved that psalm, and it covered my whole arm. It was like from my shoulder down to my elbow.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I tried hiding it, and I hid it for weeks. I was just wearing a long sleeve shirt at all time. I would sleep with my left arm towards the wall.
Right.
And then one day I fell asleep. I took a nap. I think I was wearing like a tank top maybe.
Yeah.
And she woke me up.
Oh no.
By smacking me. And I'm like, yo, what happened? And then she's like, what is that? That you can erase that, right? And I'm like, oh man, here we go.
No. Yeah.
And so I had to tell her, and my sister was involved, and it was this huge deal. And she actually like legitimately stopped speaking to me for like a month. And we lived in the same house, of course.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would like talk to her, and I'd be like, "Hey, mom," you know, or whatever. She like, it was like I was a ghost. Like, she would ignore me and just walk past me
Yeah.
because she felt betrayed, or she felt, you know, what. Now that I'm older and looking back, we've had conversations, and she just thought that I threw my life away. She thought that I was gonna either be dead, end up dead, or end up in prison.
Right.
And then little by little, as she found out that, you know, I'm a good father, and I went to school, and I work very hard, and I'm always on time, and I never got in trouble. She's like, "Oh, okay, I guess tattoos are not correlated to, you know, how a person is supposed to act or not." And so, you know, she was, you know, was okay with it, I guess. And then
Sure.
every tattoo I got after that, she would almost just beg me, like, "Hey, that's the last one, right? That's the last one, right?" And I'm like, one day I'm like, "Hey, listen, mom, like, I'm gonna probably for the rest of my life gonna keep getting tattoos. So either you're with it or you're not. But as you can see, like, I've never been to prison. I've always, people want me to work for them, and whatever I've left the job, people want me to come back, and I've, you know, so I'm like, I'm not successful, but the tattoos have not, one,
hindered me,
kept me from it. Yeah, hinder me or kept me from anything. And two, they have not dictated what's important to me, or my personality, or who I am as a person.
Right.
It's just like somebody dyes their hair a certain color, or gets a certain haircut. That's their expression. Or how you dress is what you prefer, what you like, the colors. I like tattoos, and I like to express myself through tattoos. And at the time, I mean, this was like 15, 16 years ago. And back then, it's not like today. Back then, it was actually like, you know, not good at all.
Right. And I
think more and more, it's accepted.
And kind of what you've even kind of nailed it, right? Like, when I started this Tattooed Athletic Club journey, it was really like it's an opportunity to obviously showcase athletes and the story behind their tattoos, but also what you're talking about, and starting to knock down some of the stigmas, right? And naturally, some of those things are already happening. But yeah, it's not, I think there are a lot of people that have the perception that people with tattoos are, you know, it's violence, it's gang related, it's prison related. And for so many of us, it is not, right? Like, I'm the furthest thing from a violent person. But I genuinely enjoy the expression, right? And for a lot of us, it's no different than, you know, someone who writes a song or someone who paints a picture. And it's like, I have this idea, and it's so significant to me that I want to put it on my body. That I think for a lot of us, we experience the similar thoughts behind it.
Agreed.
Do you have any tattoos for your mom?
Yes. So I have a tattoo, and I don't know why I can take this off, but I can show you some stuff. But
yeah, let's check it out.
I early on, years ago, I wanted to represent like the 3 women that have been in my life and are pretty much like my foundation, and that's my mom, my sister, and then later on in life, my wife Kelsey. And so I got like a sun, a moon, and a star.
Oh, cool.
You know, kind of just representing that.
Yep.
And so I never told my mom, because she would probably be like, "You got that for me? I don't like it." But it's this one here.
Oh, cool. Yep. Love it.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. And that's then the star cool. has the ring.
Oh yeah, got it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And yeah, and for me, you know, everybody does it differently, and I appreciate everyone's motives and everyone's style, because it's a very, very individual journey or individual expression, you know. But for me, I've never had like a big piece that I wanted to get. Like, the way that I see it for me is it's a collage.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
I don't have a big piece that is beautiful. And like some people get some piece that I'm just like, bro, that is like so beautiful. But for me, it's been like, and I've been adding for 16 years now, a little bit at a time,
Right.
just little bits, little pieces that just kind of tell you what my life has been about or is about, or very important moments in the journey, uh, all to make a collage. So none of them make sense together. Each one is an individual piece, but at the same time, they all make up
They do make
my
sense.
personal journey.
Right.
Right, right,
Right.
right. So, uh,
And
yeah,
I love that. And it's funny, all of the people I've talked to who have, you know, a heavy coverage, there's some people who, yeah, it's like two or three things make up, you know, an entire sleeve. Or there's others, I'm very similar in it's all been very individual. And none of it's been one big piece. And so I'm similar to you that I enjoy just adding on to it as I go along. And then, you know, ultimately at some point it'll be done, right? And I'll be like, what's next? Or I'm done. But I haven't hit
right,
that point. So I enjoy the little pieces and appreciating the, you know, the little ones that get added, you know, every so often.
for sure.
So what else? What other you got any other meaningful, or I'm sure they're all meaningful, but ones you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're all meaningful to me.
Yeah,
But
I know.
let's see. I have this one here, which is like some ships.
Oh, cool.
At the time, we only had one child, and so I have one ship for each, my wife and I, and then a baby ship for our
Okay.
daughter. And then our son was born, and you know,
He wants a
my
ship
wife,
now.
yeah, well, not only that, but at the time, my wife asked me the question like, "Hey, what happens when we have more kids?" I'm like, "Well, this doesn't mean that we're leaving our future kids out.
Yeah.
It just means that at this time, right now, in this stage of my life, this is where I'm at, and this is meaningful to me. So I want to represent it." And then
Yeah.
when my son came, I got another piece, which is this one here.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So
very cool.
it's our daughter. Her name is Noah, and just the way she is, and then her name, it means like flowing and movement.
Okay.
Uh, and then for our son Atlas, it goes back to like Greek mythology of having to carry a big burden or being super strong. So then, and this all just happened in my mind, right? Where I'm like, how do I find a way to represent my son and my daughter together?
Yeah.
So it was the outline or the shape of a strong man, a strong person,
Cool.
with the wings representing her as movement, as flow. And so, a figure with wings was my personal way of
Yeah.
representing my kids. And I love that piece, and
Love it.
and
Yeah.
it's not related to anything else. It's just I wanted it to be big to show some detail and like importance. So I didn't have any big spaces in my arm, so then I
Yeah.
moved on to the chest. And I'm sure, as you know, like, you start moving into more and more skin, and
Yeah.
I'm very patient with tattoos as well. Like,
Right.
I know that some people like to do, like, I'm gonna get a sleeve, and then they just get it all done at once. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this whole thing, man, like from here all the way down and then into my chest, and I have a couple other pieces. It's taken 16 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
That's
one
very
year, not
patient.
2 years, no, like 16 years, where I've filled. So the first tattoo I got, that one that we talked about, is this
Oh,
one.
that's
It's
awesome.
just
Yeah.
it's a big scroll, especially
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
my first tattoo. It was a
First
big
one.
deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there, I moved on to here, and then I moved on to here, and then I moved on to down here,
Went to,
and then
right.
to my chest. And
Yeah.
so, I just like the journey, and I'm not impatient about it, because I know what I want. And uh, I just really like all the pieces, individually and together. And we're gonna get some more here soon, probably. But I'm always like, I just one, I don't want to rush anything for me
Yeah.
and for the artist either.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I see it more like a life journey as opposed to just the goal of just filling my
Just
skin
doing it.
with
Yeah.
ink, you know? Yeah.
Right. And so the one you talked about on your chest, and some of the other ones, have you come up with the artwork for that, or have you taken the idea to the artist and let them kind of, you know, flow with it?
There have been a couple where either I kind of design it or put it together, or I just tell the artist that, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm thinking, and then allow them to kind of make it their own. So it's been a
Right.
combination.
Yeah.
Lately, exclusively, I've been going to my friend Georgia, which she's in here in Ohio, and she's been great. She's done pretty much the last 10 probably
Cool.
tattoos that I have, and then she's done all of my wife's tattoos. Um, so I really like working with her because she's an artist and she's actually outside of tattooing, like she draws and paints, and I mean I think, and I'm not saying it's easy, but I think I don't like people to just be able to draw lines with
Yeah.
a tattoo gun. I want people to relay a message and
Yeah.
to express themselves as well. So I always leave them room to be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I want, this is why. So I want you to know why so that you can know, put that into the work. But I want you to, within this, express yourself, like
Yeah.
have artist liberty so that you're also invested.
Right.
And it's been really cool.
Right. And I think a lot of people will have similar journeys with that, myself included. Is a lot of times it is like, here's what I'm thinking, right? And then the artist will add something to it or say, hey, I like this, the way that this would be written a little bit better. And every time I'm like, sounds good to me, right? Like I that ends up being better than what I could have envisioned. So a lot of just the ability to go in and let the artist work, I think is important for a lot of people who are new to getting tattoos. But hey, I'd love to ask you one more question about your tattoos. Do you have any that represent your time in the Air Force?
Yeah. So I kind of have various. So I have this
Cool.
one is
Yep.
a fire axe. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep. Got
And
it.
then before the military, I was actually a correction officer, a
Oh,
juvenile
wow.
correction officer. So I have, the gavel for that.
Yep.
And then up here, yeah,
Oh,
up here,
yep.
I guess probably be better this way.
Got
I
it.
have, well,
Very cool.
it's
Oh,
the,
that's good.
the
Yeah.
medic. And then I don't know if you can see a detail, but I was a flight medic.
Okay.
And so
Yeah, I got it.
in many ways, we would always used to call ourselves like air pirates
Yeah.
because we were, up in the air, transporting patients, helping move cargo, or supporting, other units on the ground or picking up wounded, whatever. And I just have always been intrigued and always loved like pirates and like how they did things. And then uh, I don't know, I just really love that. And so I got that. But there's, the majority of my tattoos I've gotten them since I was in the military. So it was heavily influenced by my life in the military,
Right.
or kind of the things that I went through. And one of the reasons why we kind of linked up is in the veteran military community, tattoos are huge. I
Yeah.
think that to represent pivotal moments, to express yourself, to commemorate friends that we've lost, or to remind ourselves of things to live for, and things like that. So, one of the reasons why, I came across your page and I loved it is that we express ourselves through tattoos a
Yeah.
lot. And
Right.
so, in its own way, it really is a form of therapy. In its way,
Yeah.
it really is a form of coping. And, I don't push it on people and tell people that they have to get tattoos, of course, but I think it's a great way of really uh, helping people get through something. And since it's on your skin forever, it's a
Yep.
continuous reminder or a continuous nudge to keep going,
Right.
to remember what's important, to be together, or to not forget about where you came from.
Right, right, absolutely. And so would you say that, I mean, obviously you had your first tattoo before, you went into the military, but is it something that is then, talked about and, oh, when I get out, I'm going to get this, or, hey, let me see yours, I'm going to get something similar. And then it becomes this big thing after the time of, being given service, or is it, kind of just something that you do along the way? Or would you say that this, these therapy and getting these new pieces after is something you see more regularly?
I think it's both. I think that people in the service, because it's so common, and because you know less and less with time, but it used to be where having tattoos would influence, getting a job, or at least at very least you would have to cover it up, right? Where it's not as big of an issue anymore.
Right.
But in the military, you know, you're getting paid regardless of, you know, if you have tattoos or not. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different where you have more freedom to do that and not have to worry about blowback. Uh,
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I think has really influenced people getting more and more tattoos with time is that the military was pretty strict, especially,
Okay.
every branch is a little bit different, but every branch has updated their tattoo policy and
Okay.
really gotten more and more relaxed about it and more open to it. So,
Right.
members are able to get more tattoos or get them in certain places that we didn't used to. Obviously, like the neck and the fingers at times, depending on the branch. Certain things are, or the face,
Yeah.
or anything offensive at all. Or obviously off limits. But I think that has also helped as far as you know getting tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And when you mention your fingers, did I see you've got a couple on your knuckles as well? What are
I
those?
do. So this one's the date that my wife and I got
Oh,
married,
cool.
and then this one is a little monkey with a bow
Oh, cool.
for our daughter.
Oh, very cool. Excellent. Sorry, I got you off topic there, but I had to check those out. Very cool. Um, so lastly, I would love to connect with more people in your VETWOD community. I know that there's a lot of incredible stories to tell, and that I would love to hear and share. So what's the best way, for myself and other people in the tattooed community to connect with your crew?
VETWOD for all things. So
Perfect.
VETWOD.org, or on Instagram or on Facebook. And I mean, you could also reach me on my personal IG, which is Seb_Felipe. And we love to connect with people. We love to help. We love to give back to the community. And
Yeah.
if anyone, even honestly, even if you're not a veteran or a military first responder, like, we just like to help people. And
Yeah.
so, trauma or challenging moments in our lives are not, they don't discriminate.
Right.
They affect everyone. And so if anyone's ever struggling or needs help or just needs a workout or needs someone to just listen, we're there. And
Talk to.
so this goes for your community or for any other community that could really benefit from being physically active and being connected to a community. We're here.
Right, right, absolutely. Well, like I said, I can't wait to meet more people in your community. It's been great, chatting with you the past 2 months or whatever it's been, and then getting to sit down and do this. Well, hey man, I appreciate you taking the time. It's been great, connecting with you. I think I'm really excited to connect our two communities. I think there's a lot of great overlap. So I appreciate you, taking the time, and I look forward to, following you on your tattoo journey as well.
Likewise, man. Really appreciate you, and yeah, look forward to doing some more cool things.
Yep, you got it, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, man.